Hello everyone. I've decided in order to make you a more complete player, I'm going to be breaking the game down in a lot smaller steps, fill a much bigger puzzle. In last week's video, I pointed out many areas that you could be improving on if you're stuck in the silver to gold level. If you haven't seen it already, check it out now. In this video, we're going a lot more specific. I'll be covering how to become more versatile at controlling A on offense Haven by covering two concepts. 1. Denying information. 2. Getting control. Let's get into it. If you've been trying to attack C or B and wondering, how are they all here, dude? Every time you're trying to attack a bomb site, really pay attention here as I talk about denying information and what that means for your team. Denying info means to hide what your team is doing on a certain part of the map by denying the enemy team vision. They can't see what you're doing. They don't know what you're doing. Crazy concept, huh?
Is it really that easy, StrongLegs?
Yes, it's literally that easy, and it's extremely effective, and it will be with you until you are a professional player. These concepts that I'm about to teach you right now will apply at all levels of the game. Denying information increases the chance of a team staying committed to a bomb site because they don't really know what is behind the utility, right? So if I'm applying pressure on A, for example, right? If I'm denying them vision at A by hiding this right here, they don't really know what's happening now, right? Like if he's playing long, they're not really sure. Like you could be crossed, you could be hiding in these cubbies over here, one to the left, one to the right. And like, if I'm playing long and I'm holding this angle, I have to fall back and I have to go check out what's happening in sewers because now anything could be happening behind the smokes. So by having this kind of pressure early on the map, you force other players on the enemy team to come and either stay here. If there's two people A, they're going to stay here just to make sure that, you know, nothing's happening. And there's like a small period of time where they have no idea what's happening on the map. When the defenders don't know exactly what's happening on the map, that is when they'll need to take risks to get information by either re-peeking, by either retaking a part of the map that was taken away from them, and that is your chance to punish them and make them pay for taking risks. There are many different ways you can deny information. I'm going to go over pretty much all of them, honestly. Let's start really quickly. So with Omen, obviously, smoke across. You want to make sure that the smoke is deep right here. And if that way it gives you space to come out safely on these sides over here. And as well as to come out over here on this side. You have that little extra space. You can play behind it. But make sure it's deep. Make sure the shallow part is on this side. And it goes a lot deeper on the other side. Same thing for Brimstone. Smoke, boom. Vision denied. Make sure you're not being pushed. Same thing if you're Jet. Now, if you're Reyna, Reyna's kind of a special breed. Reyna and Phoenix a little different in the sense that there's different ways with Phoenix, but with Reyna flashes, you can also deny vision, right? Because as soon as they look at the flash, you don't really know what's happening. Maybe somebody could be playing here, and as soon as your flash finishes, they might jiggle for information, or they might start to peek out long A for info. So when you're using flashes like Phoenix, Breach, or Reyna, can't 100% assume they don't really know what you're doing, right? It's not the same as smokes, but it's still an effective tool to deny information. Now, same thing with Breach here. With Breach and again, other agents, it's not as reliable to deny information with these agents, but it's still very much possible by stunning this, flashing. Now, anybody who's playing on this side of the map, they're gonna get stunned, they're gonna get flashed off, and that usually means that they're going to fall off to the bomb site because by the time the stun and the flash fade, they don't really know what's happening here on this A part of the map. And if they decide to re-peek and there's two people here or even three people here, boom, dead. Free pick for you guys, right? So it's still a pretty effective method at denying information, at least early, but again, not as reliable as smokes. Now, kind of similar to Reyna, you also have flashes to peek out across. If no one is peeking, then you know the information is denied. You know that no one is peeking. Just make sure again sewers is not being pushed, and occasionally check to see if anyone is peeking. Again, if no one is peeking, you have denied information. Now you can decide, okay, they don't know what's happening on A. You have to assume that they're going to keep two people here on the A site. Then now you can start to take into account where you want to go, what you want to do on the entire Haven map. But the cool thing with Phoenix is he has two different ways of doing this. He also has a wall, and this wall is pretty much works exactly like a smoke. The enemy team won't really know what you're up to, and they'll have the pressure of sewers. They'll have the pressure of not really knowing what's happening on the other side of that wall, and they also might get scared to keeping two people here, or they might feel enough pressure. Again, the whole point of denying info is to try to make them lose track of what you guys are doing on this part of the map. Cypher is a bit of a special breed, and I think this is kind of why he's so popular in the pro scene, is because sometimes control or like taking something further alone is a lot easier. And let me show you what I mean. So by the start of the round, you'll see a lot of Cyphers in the pro scene do this, and they'll come here and they'll just drop their camera, and they can easily just check to see if anyone is either here or here, and if there isn't, it's easy peasy. They can just take their camera back, they can just walk up on this, you can maybe drop your second cage, you can just clear out this side over here, and then boom, you have long A control. There's also like another variation where maybe you come this way and you are more afraid of sewers, right? You can just come here, drop your camera, check it out. Anyone's pushing? No, no one's pushing. Okay, you can just keep checking. Oh, no, it's still no one here. Then you know that at most you have to deal with either this corner or anyone either up here, here, or here. Now that we've talked a little bit about denying information, let's go a little bit more deep into the Haven's fundamentals by talking about getting control. Control is committing players to gain a part of the map. This is a little bit different from denying information. Denying information is more like, all right, I'm throwing some utility and I'm going somewhere else, right? Getting control is when you are entering the territory with your own body, either for the purpose of killing the defenders or taking full control of that part of the map and pushing the defenders back to the bomb site so that they have a ton of pressure. If you've pushed them back or eliminated them, then you obviously know you have complete control, and information is being denied totally on this part of the map, and it'll cause the defenders to rotate heavily to this part of the map. There are two common mistakes I see a lot at the silver to plat level, even sometimes in diamond as well, that players make. One, they almost always send all 5 people to take control of something. 2, they make so much noise or use way too much utility. Let's go back to point 1. Unless you're planning on transitioning quickly after taking control, you really don't need more than 3 or 4 people to take control of something. Having at least 1 or 2 people on other parts of the maps can give you an out in case something goes wrong on the A control, and it also gives you the chance to punish players who are trying to flank or trying to get information somewhere else. So by having these players in different places on the map, if anyone's trying to push really quickly, they're risking dying. If anyone's trying to push way too early, they're risking dying, while still giving you a pretty good core trying to take control of the part of the map that you want, which is A control in this case. And back to number 2, making too much noise or using way too much utility to take control. In Valorant, every agent has unique abilities. This makes it really obvious where you are on the map as long as the defenders are paying attention, right? So when you're taking control of a part of the map, if you have more than 3 people there, you don't want everyone to use utility. Otherwise, it's really easy for the defenders to know, oh, there's 4 of them here, right? So if Sova shoots an arrow here, for example, and Sage slows sewers, right? And then Jet dashes in, and Cypher drops his camera up here somewhere, and then Omen, he's making a lot of footsteps, right? It's now incredibly easy for the defenders to know, oh, there's at least 4 of them here, and possibly the 5th. The other thing too is footsteps are another way defenders keep track of where you are on the map. So if you're stomping every time you take control, or if you're always stomping around the map, it's really easy to keep track of your player spread and punish you or push on you in different parts of the maps. If you're planning on either going C or B after taking A control, you don't really have to worry too much about making noise and stomping around and using a ton of utility, because the more noise you make and the more pressure you apply, the more rotators are going to have to make their way over to the A site and open up B or C for you. If you're maybe thinking of going A after you get control of the A side, in a perfect world, you don't want to use a lot more utility than you were when you were trying to deny information. I know that's kind of difficult sometimes, and maybe you need to use a little bit more utility just to guarantee control. That's okay, but you don't want everyone using utility, everyone making noise, or letting the enemy team know that, okay, they're a lot A, because it's going to trigger the alarms, and their rotates are going to be a lot quicker than you will be able to transition to the A site, unless you find opening kills or whatever, right? That's different. But ideally speaking, you don't want to make too much noise when you're trying to transition to A site after taking control of this part, to allow you to like maybe fight 1-2 defender, maybe 2 defenders, maybe a third one if you got a really good heads up. But ideally speaking, if you're planning on going A, don't make too much noise. If you're gonna go B or C, you don't really have to worry too much about making noise. But if you want to keep it consistent, maybe reduce the noise a little bit. But it's not a really big deal. Remember, you don't always need all 5 people here. Sometimes having lurks elsewhere, maybe in middle, maybe hiding somewhere over here, or say, you know, whether the person is here, or maybe up here. Having these players on the map can help punish players for fast flanking, and especially at the plat and diamond level, where there's a lot of smurfs or people who are like very aggressive, or like they always want to challenge you or always want to duel you. Having these 2 players hiding on the other parts of the map is going to be really helpful at punishing those over aggressive players and making sure they respect your space and respect your boundary, so that you can have a better time on offense. Also, as a side note and a kind of a bonus tip, if you are trying to deny information from an enemy Cypher who seems to be playing A, make sure that you deal with all his common cameras. It might be here, right? So when you're coming in, you're coming here, you drop in your cage. Just make sure that you're looking for the camera. It could be here. It could be anywhere here. Some people like to put it over here. Otherwise, if you want that extra pressure, just make sure you're killing that camera. Just listen to it. It'll be many cues for you, so that they have no way to gain information without risking their bodies. And there's that extra layer of pressure. And boom. We have covered pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about today. I really hope that by the end of this video, you're starting to understand or have at least a better picture of how this map should play out, the flow of the map on the offense, kind of what you should be doing on certain rounds if your teammates are calling, hey, we're going C, hey, we're going B. You kind of start to form a clearer image on understanding what your role needs to do or what your team needs to do to maximize your success here on offense. As always, thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've learned something. Or if this video has helped you, please like, comment, subscribe, as well as share it with other friends who might be, you know, a little bit of a bot. Thank you again, and bye-bye.